Entertainment Soldier here, and I am back to talk about Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1, and my thoughts on this episode. Disney's last hope of saving Star Wars. I thought this episode was boring, dumb, annoying, and the ending. Oh, Bo-Katan. Oh, God. How... oh, how the fucking mighty have fallen. This episode was boring. But I will give them one credit. And it will be... well, it's the least I can do for this episode. And this is a spoiler, so get ready. They didn't kill off Cara Dune. They didn't do it. So, I'll get into that in spoilers, but on that, I thought was a certainty. I thought they were either going to ignore her, or they were going to kill her off. But it looks like they've gone to the whole, let's not mention her, but also let's not kill her. So maybe certain people, Dave Filoni, Favreau, might want to try to bring her back. I don't know. But maybe they do, because... I mean, why would you not kill her off? They can't recast her, because it would just be suicide for whoever took over that role, because the fans would not accept them. I only want Gina Carano for that role. But that's the only plus I'm giving this episode. Other than that, boring. And I am so fucking sick of Grogu. I am so sick of Baby Yoda. I can't deal with this annoying thing anymore. The only reason Grogu is still in this show is he's the only fucking bit of merchandise that sells in Star Wars. Not even Mando's bloody figurines sell as much as Grogu does. So the only reason he's back is because he's the only sellable character in Star Wars left. But other than that, yes, episode is boring. It's not exciting, okay? The first episode should be something to get you excited for the rest of the season. This episode just doesn't cut it for me. For me, Star Wars is just at this place that it's either going to be shit or just not as good as what Star Wars used to be. And that's just a massive punch in the gut to really have to realise that. So, episode was boring. One good thing happened. Everything else, again, it's just not exciting to watch. There's nothing here. There's nothing entertaining. There's nothing, like special in this episode. There's nothing. It's just, oh, you remember season 1 and 2 of Mandalorian? Well, you're just going to get the same from this season. And those last two seasons, the first season was okay. The second season, I mean, fine. They brought certain things back, but it wasn't anything special. And then the one thing that was special, they kind of ruined with taking the piss out of Star Wars Theory for crying over it. And then... again, all the goodwill to the Mandalorian pretty much died as soon as they fired Gina Carano. For me and a lot of other fans, Mandalorian is now having to deal with that shit. They didn't need to deal with that. They could have just let Gina Carano have her opinion and leave her in the show. And they are still going to pay for that with this season. Because as I said at the beginning of this video, this is Disney's last fucking hope for Star Wars, because nothing else is doing it for Star Wars fans. Nothing else is getting Star Wars fans excited. Nothing else is bringing any amount of Star Wars fans to the table, basically. So, my score out of 10 for this episode, it's probably a 5. Like, I at least enjoyed finding out they didn't kill off Gina Carano, and I at least enjoyed the combat scene at near the end with the Naboo fighter. I thought that was cool. But yeah, so it's a 5 out of 10 from me. Not a great start. So, let's go into spoilers now. If you don't want to hear spoilers, leave in 3, 2, 1. So, episode starts off with a ceremony inducting a new member of the Mando cult, whatever they're called. And, this is the way, and, telling this child you can't take the helmet off because, again, they have to keep telling us the whole helmet thing. That still doesn't make sense because other Mandalorians take their fucking helmets off. Anyway, so the ceremony then gets interrupted by a massive crocodile. It starts attacking the Mandalorians and they all try to beat it, but it's too powerful for them and their weapons aren't exactly doing that much damage to it. Then Mando comes on his Naboo fighter and fires a shot at it and kills it. And Mando lands, talks to the leader, woman, person, whatever the fuck she's called, and says to her, listen, I want to come back to the team. I'll go to Mandalore and I'll bathe in the Mandalorian waters. And he brings some sort of material with him to show her that Mandalore might not be poisoned, and etc. And then she says, fine, this is the way. Go off and do that, and you can come back and join us so that we can all accept that you've taken off your helmet, but you've just bathed in some water, and now all's forgiven, because that makes sense. Oh, fucking hell. So Mando goes back to Navarro to, get some help, because going to Mandalore is going to be very difficult, and he needs someone to help him get through that dangerous place. And so he goes to speak to Cargo, who's now turned Navarro into this very prosperous place. It's apparently independent and is now thriving. It's got trade people and mining people that are bringing in so much credits to the planet. It's pretty much becoming self-reliant. And Mando asks, he needs some help, but then they're both interrupted by a bunch of pirates that come to Navarro to get a drink, and Cargo pretty much has to tell the pirates this isn't the same planet anymore, we don't do that sort of thing, and the pirates remind Cargo, you used to pay us to kill people, just because you've changed clothes doesn't mean you've changed as a person, blah 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 blah. And then Mando and Cargo kill this pirate guy's men and tell him to run away, which he does. And Mando pretty much helps Cargo secure the planet, basically. When Mando asks about where's Cara Dune, we get told by Cargo that she has been recruited by the New Republic Special Forces. Now, this was pretty surprising to me because I genuinely thought they were going to kill her off and say she, died in some accident or something. I didn't think we were going to get the whole Star Wars Rangers thing, because that show is still not been cancelled. And Cara Dune is still working. I don't know, something tells me Disney might bring her back. Now, that would be the best news for us Star Wars fans, for Cara Dune to get her own show, because she was a good character. Again, I'm not going to say Cara Dune's acting is amazing, because I do think it does need work. But, Gina Carano is a good person. Like, she actually cares about the fans. She wants to do Star Wars. You can tell she wants to do it. But she doesn't want to be their bitch, basically. And the shit she's had to go through is absolutely disgraceful. Okay? It's a fucking joke. Especially when the arsehole playing Mando has said the exact same fucking thing, or even worse. And yet he gets to keep his role. But as long as you're saying the right, disgraceful thing, you can stay. There's no forgiveness if you say the wrong thing. But anyway, so Mando's come to Navarro because he needs someone to help him get on the planet, and it turns out he needs IG-11, that robot who blew himself up in the first season. Well, apparently that's the only droid Mando can trust, and he needs a droid to go to Mandalore. And so we see there's a statue of IG-11, but in that statue are pieces of IG-11 that still work. So Mando tells Cargo to get the pieces of IG-11 that work and bring up to his office. He fixes as much as he can of IG-11, then reactivates him, and then IG-11 then goes crazy and tries to kill Grogu. Kind of wish he did, but Mando stops him. Well, not Mando. A droid stops him by throwing a statue on IG-11's head. So Cargo takes Mando to some repair people that turn out to be those little bastards from Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, those little idiot creature things. Apparently they're back for some reason, and they pretty much tell Mando, we can't fix IG-11, he's too damaged, but there is a way to fix him if Mando finds a particular part, and if he finds that particular part, they can fix IG-11. So Mando now has to go on a mission to find a part for IG-11 so that he can take IG-11 to Mandalore to help him bathe in some water. I don't know why Mando doesn't just ask someone else. Maybe Cara Dune, or maybe the other bunch of people that's helped him in the last 2 seasons. So that's what the next episode is going to be. Mando trying to find a piece, a robot piece to fix IG-11. But before he goes on that journey, he decides to make a quick stop at another Mandalorian planet to go to speak to Bo-Katan. Now, when he goes to speak to her, she's living in this old Mandalorian castle, and she's pretty much on her own, just has a droid at the front. And when Mando goes to speak to Bo-Katan, she tells him that she's been abandoned by all her forces. She had a massive group of Mandalorians following her, but they abandoned her because she didn't come back with the dark saber. It's so these Mandalorians who have stayed with you since fucking Darth Maul took over Mandalore have only now just abandoned you. All of them. They have stuck with you since the fall of Mandalore, since Rebels, and since the downfall of the Empire, but now they've abandoned you because you didn't get a fucking lightsaber. Are you fucking insane? Oh my god, this is so fucking stupid. I mean, I give them fucking credit when they say all the Mandalorians basically just went back to what they usually do when this sort of situation happens for Mandalorians, which is they go back to being bounty hunters or mercenaries. I'll give them credit for that. But they just abandon her because she doesn't have a lightsaber or the dark saber. For fuck's sake. And Bo-Katan just seems like a miserable bitch right now because they've all abandoned her. She's given up. I mean, we obviously all know she hasn't given up. She's going to go fucking back and... Oh, fuck it, whatever. But yeah, she's depressed. Mando asks for her help, but she says no. And just wishes Mando, best of luck on Mandalore, basically. And then Mando says, I'll go check if the planet's poisoned still, and I'll try to tell you about it later. I don't fucking know. And that's how the episode ends. Mandalorian is now sent on a mission to find a part for IG-11 to wake him back up. And that's it. That's how the episode ends. It was a boring episode. Nothing really happened. And that last bit about fucking Bo-Katan's forces leaving her because they didn't want to follow her anymore. It's just so stupid. Okay, maybe some of the Mandalorians would have lost faith in her, but come on. She fought for years for the Mandalorians. Like, not just after the Clone Wars, through the Empire, and it's just so fucking ridiculous. And I don't know, it just wasn't a good episode. It's a 5 out of 10 for me, mainly just because they didn't kill off Cara Dune, which they could have easily done. So, I'll give them credit there. And that's the end of my review for The Mandalorians. And if you like this video, give it a like. If you dislike this video, give it a dislike. And if you like my content, do think about subscribing. Entertainment Mode Soldier. Bye.